どうでしたかしら。私と彼女としとねを共にして。
悪くはなかった。これが処女同金の奇跡、リザレクションか。
あら、ご存知だったのですね。
知識としてはな。もっとも。
Hey everybody, welcome back to the podcast. Danny here, and today I'm talking to you guys about Goblin Slayer Side Story 2, Tsubanari no Daikatana. So this is the other spin-off of Goblin Slayer. This is also based off of a light novel series, written of course by the same boy here, Kumo Kagyu, and this is an interesting one. This is one that I looked at and was like, okay, let's see what's going on here. This is set 10 years in the past. This is when the Sword Maiden, if you remember, she's one of the main characters that Goblin Slayer interacts with at one point. Her original party of 6 adventurers, they went to their journey into the Dungeon of the Dead, which was this big thing back in the day. And they were the ones that went to go kill the Demon Lord and kind of bring balance back into the world that is Goblin Slayer. Now, from what I can tell, this is monthly, I think. This was serialized in Gangan GA online magazine. Now, it says there was 9 planned chapters subdivided into several parts. I don't really understand what that means. Is it talking about arcs? Does chapters mean like an episode kind of thing? You know, instead of like individual chapters, right? It's like, oh, this whole arc spans one chapter. I think that's what they were kind of saying here. And the first volume should be out. This started in December of last year, 2018. It was online and as well as Square Enix's Manga Up app. All these side stuff is going on the Square Enix thing, I believe. So I checked it out, right? And I was digging it so far. The art does try to do a good job at resembling what the main manga looks like. I believe it's the same illustrator as the light novel, if I'm not mistaken. And that is, for here anyways, for the manga adaptation, is Takashi Minakuchi. Now, yeah, I don't remember if he is the same person or not that is doing the art. But looking here at the light novel art, it looks like it could be. Now, for the light novel, it does have 9 chapters, but I believe chapters are part of the books. I'm not too sure. I'm not a light novel guy, so if you guys have any insight on that, would love to hear it. But let's get into the story. So it's getting in character development is the big thing here. We're setting up our characters right before we get into the thick of things of them fighting this demon lord. And, you know, we don't start off with the whole team. We only start off with 3 people, young new adventurers. Well, 2 of them anyways, and one's a veteran. The interesting part of it is our main character, which I believe is part of the name here. He's using katanas for his weapon choice, and he's throwing on some samurai armor. Is totally foreign. And of course, even the way he acts is also foreign compared to what we've seen. He's, you know, an adventurer from basically a different country, is from what I can understand here. With, I guess, a childhood friend and just a veteran, I think elf is what he is. Let me see here. Yeah, he's a half-elf scout, yes. So basically, they're here and they need to recruit people for a full team, right? A full team is usually 4 to 6 people. Really sticking with the RPG rules, as usual, as you would expect in this kind of series. And, you know, they stumble upon 2 of the members. One is the Sword Maiden at first, right? And we see her as a somewhat kind of novice adventurer. Everyone here is really kind of starting out, except for the half-elf scout. He's kind of been doing this for a while. And then eventually we meet our other female character, who is a warrior, who rocks a spear. And we actually got a little background with her, where she's already been in the Dungeon of the Dead. And implying, and with the dialogue implying that her whole team was annihilated, and this is not the first time this has happened, kind of thing. And in fact, they meet her at a church where a lot of wounded people who are missing party members are found. And so, yeah, so we got 5 people so far. We're just missing one, which is a, what is he? He's a bug man and a monk. Pretty interesting stuff. Crazy design. Not really shown in the main series for Goblin Slayer as well. And yeah, I was really digging it. Really liking pretty much everything all around. The character dialogue is fantastic. Development was looking promising. And then I finished chapter 3. And after that, things took a turn. I tried to look it up, but all I got were various circumstances and all this kind of stuff, but it got canceled. It got canceled from the magazine. And yeah, just Takashi Minakuchi just said due to various circumstances, he just couldn't do it. And they would come back at a later day. And then, so that was in April of this year, right? So yeah, from December to April, it was serialized and then just, canceled. And then in May, they announced that Aoki Shogo is going to take over the adaptation, and that would resume in August. And so we got 1 chapter out of that so far. And with Takashi not doing it anymore, the art, of course, has to change. And not only does the art change, but the direction and the pacing changes for a dramatic turn. It looks super, like, gritty, edgy. Like, I kind of get that feel like you would get from Underworld, like the themes they were trying to play in there. You know, like, it's super heavy on the ink here. If you look up this manga, I believe it's called Yakuza Girl. It was only 9 chapters long. It has that kind of feeling for the art style. And does not pick up where we're left off, which is bothersome because it is, say, chapter 4. You know, they don't remove the previous chapter's work. And it says chapter 4, but we get the whole crew here, but we didn't even get an introduction to the Bugman monk. And they're already in the Dungeon of the Dead, and, you know, they're fighting some high-level demons going on. There's zombies. There's all this crazy action going on, you know, and this is very cliche for this kind of story. And it's like, how did we get here, you know, and then flash back all the way into the beginning to where the real manga starts. And I just was not feeling it, man, you know. The original direction I felt was fine. It felt like in the same universe of the main story, Goblin Slayer. But I guess to give them credit, this is before, I guess, the world had peace, quote unquote. So maybe that is justifiable in the way just the pacing and tone was. But I don't know, really digging Takashi's work. It was just unfortunate to see Aoki really take this shift into the story. And unfortunately, there's only 1 chapter, which I don't know what's going on, you know, either on our end or somewhere else. It's just what it is, you know. So that's kind of unfortunate here. I was really looking forward to getting more content out of this, but, you know, can't really find much else about this manga other than I'm kind of mixed on this one if I want to continue it. Because my best guess is the next chapter that should release will be one of those, like I said, flashback cliches. So we'll get the build up before they go into the Dungeon of the Dead. But I don't know, like this art, I don't necessarily mind it. It reminds me of the DMC5 Visions of V manga, right? Where it feels like it does feel crowded just because of the art style. You know, I think with this specific kind of art style, it actually hurts when it's in black and white, right? Because everything's blending in together because of all these abstract objects he's trying to get with the terrain and the clothing you have, you know? And I just feel like if it was in color, you could really make things pop, make things more easy for the eyes to look at. And just, you know, it's unfortunate for me to feel that way, you know? Because I was, like I said in the last episode, I want more Goblin Slayer content, but I don't know. Again, I think we'll see if the choreography on these action panels get better, and just how does just the typical writing is, because we didn't really get any real content out of this chapter, right? It's just pure like, okay, let's get an overlook of what's really going on. Like, our characters are going through this trouble, and like, it is cool to see our main characters get into some action, actually do some attacks and moves and all that. But you know, I kind of liked the build-up we were going with. But anyways, that's pretty much all I really have to say about this. Again, there's nothing much, but it's just, again, unfortunate that Takashi really had to leave for who knows what circumstances are. So that's always unfortunate to see. And also, hopefully, Aoki didn't get any real negative hits from that. I mean, I know it was only 3 chapters, but still, you know, because I know, like, in Pokemon, the manga, Special or Adventures here in the West, when they switched on to different artists, they've just, the backlash was so hard for no reason on the new guy, and that was really unfortunate. You know, he was really hurting on that one, so that sucks. But yeah, so I guess we'll just wait and see if there's going to be any chapters coming up anytime soon. Who knows? But until then, you know, we're going to get into that next side story. We're going to get more Gintama, all your manga needs here on the podcast. And while we're waiting for those episodes and chapters to be read, remember, you can email us at unversedpodcast@gmail.com if you have any questions, comments, concerns. Have you read the light novels for Goblin Slayer? I would like to know if that's worth checking out. Because I do know there's illustrations and all that in light novels. I've never been a light novel kind of guy. I've only read manga adaptations, like High School DD is another example of one. But I think with the more content I think that'll be the option. But yeah, what do you guys think of that, or just Goblin Slayer overall? We would love to talk about it on the next episode. So remember, unversedpodcast@gmail.com. You could follow us on social media at unversedpodcast, just to, you know, stay updated on the episodes, as well as Marvel Talk. We're posting there again as well. So all good times on this end. So thanks for listening, guys. And until next time, let's just sit back, listen to this music.
With elevation to high stakes, forcing light travelers, risking making a life break. I don't have time to go back, the mistake that Klein makes. All black, everything, call me Lupe with fine blades, slashing through what's happening. I'm all about this time frame. Don't want to get stuck within these walls, cause I would die in shame. People in my corner form top roster, no fear at all. Obstacles like Ilfang and mob bosses, we clear them all. Gotta get in my zone just to hit it. Everybody wanna play along, I'm offended. Don't have any time to be afraid to get a level up. Do it like Kiaba, cause I calm as a minute. Just remain calm for a minute. Do I really gotta do this the way that they said it? Do I gotta rap about cars, about drugs, about hoes? If I do, man, I know I might regret it. So I just be me, I don't need y'all, don't need guilds, cause I still ball. Just a black swords when I'm about to reenact Jordan's guild in my field, dog. We call it a game, but now it's got a real life feel. I dual blade attack at these beats, I'm hacking, the grind's real. Yeah, doesn't matter what you've been through, just try to remember that victory's all mental. Doesn't matter what you've been through, just try to remember your victory's all mental. Treat it like a game, but I still keep the same grind. Treat it like a game, but I still keep the same grind. Treat it like a game, but I still keep the same grind. Treat it like a game, but maybe it's time to change mine. The spot is lacking in magic, I have to attack it. Spit black iron palace bars, just spewing doom with these heated sayings. The heart is lacking in tracks in which rappers brag about date, rape, drugs, cars, no use in truth to receive their payments. I drop the passion, dispatch, I'm hatching, dispatches, detractors. I'll take charge like a Asuna uses Carrito Savior. Game got me cackling like laughing at all these cats to be asking why there are no R's and footy goodies, abbreviation. By that I mean I'm dropping heat, it's comical. Feel these beats deep within me like John Joe's knees to abdominals. Sessions influence the environment, bro. Try to backstab me, you'll just discover immortal object flow. Pursue excellence, I forgot the cost. Fully directed as if we were my pocket procs. So I hit the booth with tasty heat and then I'm launching off. Fire fuck that sticks up the whole region like sriracha sauce. Yeah, doesn't matter what you've been through, just try to remember that victory's all mental. Doesn't matter what you've been through, just try to remember your victory's all mental. Treat it like a game, but I still keep the same grind. Treat it like a game, but I still keep the same grind. Treat it like a game, but I still keep the same grind. Treat it like a game, but maybe it's time to change mine. Why would I ever step to my lane with absurd fear? Transfer ball in lines like data from games with my nerve gear. Unashamed that I'll never change, got the same brain that you've learned to cheer. 3 volumes in the game, I gotta bring more into this nerd sphere. Call me Heathcliff, just a monster in disguise. Mild man and causing damage when I'm chopping up these lines. Skill is raw, take a stand, a man. Imposters lose their shine. Roundhouse, I Van Damme on jamming, watch me lose my mind. Cause I'm after more than my first deal. Sometimes you watch loved ones die to you and you learn how hurt feels. But this is the process, so I end up stronger like I came from Curry Deal. Always think gotta turn my wheels. Move to disprove those who were skeptical of the nerd appeal. Out of ideas, so my foes are both to spoil faces like they got diarrhea. But know they're low on toilet paper. But I murk online if you're facing me, boy, it sure sucks. Get ready to die like you just learned you're the last Horcrux. Yeah. Doesn't matter what you've been through, just try to remember that victory's all mental. Doesn't matter what you've been through, just try to remember your victory's all mental. Treat it like a game, but I still keep the same grind. Treat it like a game, but I still keep the same grind. Treat it like a game, but I still keep the same grind. Treat it like a game, but maybe it's time to change mine. Yeah.